Hi, I'm C.C. Péan, and this is Reclaiming Your Health. Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to Reclaiming Your Health. I am your host, C.C. Péan, Chef C.C. Péan. I am excited to be back here with you this week. We are going to do something that I love. Now, it's interesting. We're going into the summer, which means hotter weather, right? But I have a thing for soup. I love soup. Irrespective of the time of the year, I love just a warm, tummy, comforting, satiating soup. And I especially love soup with fresh veggies. And there are certain spring vegetables and summer vegetables. And this particular soup that I'm making has all of those. I am partial to like chunky soups. I'm partial to soups that are like really filling. Something's bothering my feet. Something that's really filling. So this soup is going to feature all these different things that are so healthy for you and delicious. And I think that if you try this soup, this chowder, you're going to love it. So there's a few things we're doing in this soup specifically because of the time of year. Now, I'm somebody who also loves going to farmers markets. I love going to farmers markets because I can find fresh seasonal fruit and vegetables. Now, we live in a world that we live in, so there are things that seem to be available year round, but that's not really what nature intended. And it is best to eat food in its season. And one of the best ways to get that is to go to your local farmers market. Support those local farmers markets, those local farmers, and get produce that is just deliciously grown in really healthy soil, and the transfer of all those nutrients get into your pot, get onto your plate, and get into your body. So the soup, excuse me, we're doing today is a summer corn chowder. Now, what I love about this soup is it is corn season, and I got some delicious fresh corn. I don't know if you know this or not, but you can actually eat raw corn. You can. You don't have to boil it to smithereens and slather it with butter and all that kind of stuff. That's tasty, but it's actually even more nutritious not to overcook it. So we're just going to cook this gently. We're not going to eat it raw, but this soup is not going to cook long at all. So we're going to have some fresh corn off the cob. We've got some summer squash, some zucchini. I parboiled a half of a sweet potato and a half of a red potato because I like to add the flavor profile of both of these, a little sweetness. And I also like how it breaks down and it contributes to the chowder part of the corn chowder. We have some carrots here. We have some celery. I have some onion and garlic, some smoked paprika, a little bit of coconut milk. You feel free to use any kind of plant milk you want except for rice milk. Rice milk will not work. Another great substitution would be oat milk. So oat milk or coconut milk, you can always use the reduced fat coconut milk if you want to avoid the full fat. You can do that totally and it'll still taste great. We have some vegetable broth here and I have a little bit of salt. So let's get started. I don't want to put my pan on this heat as yet. So I'm just going to get started. Taking some of this corn off the cob. So you're just going to run your knife down. You're just going to run your knife down. If you've ever cut a pineapple skin, you should be familiar with this. So the goal is to get about 3 cups. Just gently. You want to do this gently and carefully because you don't want to hurt yourself. Just run right along the edge. Of course, you could do this in a bowl. It'd be less messy. So there's done. We're going to cut some more corn. You can obviously, when it's not corn season, you can use frozen corn. I wouldn't use canned corn. You can use frozen corn. But this time of the year, why not use fresh corn off the cob? It is really sweet and it's got that nice crunchiness to it, which is what I also love about corn because I love all the textures in a corn chowder. You're going to have the soft potato. You're going to have a little crispiness with your carrots and a little crispy crunchiness with your corn. So you've got 3 ears here. Okay. And we're going to do one more. And again, you can do this in a bowl if you don't want to make a mess. I've done this quite a bit, so I'm kind of good at keeping it all in one place. But of course, you can always do it in a bowl. So yeah, go to your local market, your local farmer's market, and get yourself some fresh corn. Okay, so we're going to move this aside. And now I'm going to work on my zucchini. Love zucchini. Love yellow squash as well. And what you're going to do with this is you're just going to cut it, you know, kind of like bite-sized pieces. We are going to blend this with an immersion blender a little bit. So we don't want to make it too small because we don't want it to be mushy. So I like to cut them in probably like 1/4-inch pieces. And you can either do like 1 zucchini, 1 large zucchini or 2 small. I'm doing 2 smaller zucchini. Take your time and cut these. We want them to be cut evenly. You all know what I say about that. We want to cut them evenly so that they cook evenly. It cooks evenly and then it's beautiful. You want a beautiful dish when you're done. So you're going to take your time with cutting these things. So we've got this here. Just cutting it. We've already cut up our onion and we've minced our garlic. This is going to make a good amount too. I always have to remind myself not to fix too much of it because once you add everything together, you have a lot of soup. And while I love soup, I don't necessarily want to eat it every day for the rest of the week. And this particular soup is not one that I would recommend that you freeze. It really is best fresh. Potatoes don't really freeze well. I don't find that they do. So now we're just going to cut up some of this celery. Okay, and I'm actually going to drop this celery in my little bowl with my onion and my garlic. I think soups are a great way to get in nutrition. I think if you're somebody who is trying to lose a little bit of weight, I think soup is great as well because it is one of those things that's very filling. And you can always add like a scoop of rice to your soup, or you can, you know, eat it with some bread or something like that. So we're carefully cutting these carrots. Okay, got these carrots done. And we're going to cut these. Now, if you're somebody who doesn't want too many crunchy things, you can add the carrots earlier in the, as we put these in the pot. I'm going to do that tonight so they cook a little longer. Of course, the zucchini doesn't take long at all. So here are our ingredients for our soup. I'm going to put this on the fire now. But isn't this beautiful? This is what we're talking about when we say eat the rainbow. This is a prime example of eating the rainbow. We've got this beautiful, fresh, cut off the corn, cut off the cob corn. We've got this beautiful zucchini. We've got these carrots. You've got your beta carotene going on here. Beta carotene from our carrots and from our sweet potatoes. I mean, this is just going to be amazing. I'm actually going to take a little bite of this corn. It is super sweet, super delicious. And that's going to add great flavor to our soup. So our pan is warming up. I'm just going to drop a little avocado oil in my pan, about a tablespoon. And to that, I'm going to add my celery, my onion, and my garlic. It's in there. And I'm just going to saute that a little bit. This is the kind of soup that really, you can add so many things to it. You can make it as hearty or as light as you would like to. But let's talk a little bit about the ingredients, a little bit more in depth. So overall, raw corn can be considered to be nutritionally superior to cooked corn. Raw corn is not only more nutrient dense in terms of antioxidants, minerals, and vitamins, but it is also easier to digest. So without TMI, I'm sure there are quite a few of us who eat corn and the next day there's evidence that we ate corn. So what the opinion is that if you eat raw corn, it actually goes through your body better. Raw corn is rich in dietary fiber, which helps the body digest food and absorb vitamins and minerals. This smells delicious, and we've just got our celery, our onions, and garlic. Now, something that I've shared with you all as well is that celery adds a bit of saltiness to your food. So if you're trying to watch your salt, be sure to add some celery in the mix. Okay, so this is broken down a little bit. Next, we're going to add our carrots because we want those to cook a little longer than everything else. Let me just grab my little tool out of my drawer. So we're going to drop our carrots in there and let those cook for a little bit. So what else can I tell you? Let's talk about zucchini. What are the 12 evidence-based, actually 9 evidence-based indicators of zucchini? Rich in many nutrients, high in antioxidants. That's something you're going to hear over and over and over again. And you can never underestimate the importance or overestimate the importance of antioxidants. Antioxidants fight the free radicals. And we've talked about free radicals. Free radicals are those things that are in our environment and in our body that are cancer causing, that are disease causing. So when you eat a diet that's rich in antioxidants, what you're doing is you are cutting off disease at the quick. You're not giving it an opportunity to do damage. So this is why we need to have antioxidant-rich meals. And antioxidant-rich meals come from nature's bounty. Antioxidants are not found in a can. They're not found in a package. Antioxidants are found in nature. So that's why you want to eat things as close to its natural state as possible. All right, this is smelling great. It's looking great. Let me show you what it looks like so far. It's kind of like a little mirepoix, if you will. All right, so now the next thing I'm going to add is my zucchini. Remember, we parboiled our potatoes, so we don't have to put our potatoes in. There's just probably about 5 minutes left of cooking our potatoes, and that's why I did that, because I didn't want to have to overcook my veggies. So what I did ahead of time is I parboiled for about 10 minutes, parboiled my sweet potato and my red potato. Okay, let's move this knife out the way because we're done with that. And I'm just gonna stir this up a little bit. Let it continue to cook. The zucchini is gonna soften a bit. We have some thyme to put in here and bay leaf. Let me grab my bay leaf out of my drawer. And some thyme. Now, fresh thyme is also good. You can always use fresh thyme. I'm using some dried thyme today, but I'm gonna take a whole bay leaf and drop that in there. Interestingly enough, I find that bay leaf adds a little bit of sweetness. All right, so that's in there. And we're gonna put some of our thyme in there as well. You can just drop a sprig of thyme if you want to. I'm actually not using a sprig of thyme. Let me tell you why I'm not doing that tonight. My husband, that's like the bane of his existence. He hates pulling herbs out of things I cook. So since we will be eating this soup, this corn chowder together, I'm opting for sprinkling some thyme leaves as opposed to putting a full sprig in there. Ooh, that scared me. Did that scare you? Okay, so the next thing we're gonna put in is our corn. This is our fresh, off the cob, summer sweet corn, nice and crispy and sweet. It's going in the pot. We've got about 3 cups here. That's about 4 ears of corn. All right. So I'm going to stir this up a little bit. This is looking so good. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of my red potato and my sweet potato. Now these add flavor, but they're also going to add some thickness to it. So we've got all of our ingredients in here, and all that is left to do at this point is add some vegetable broth and a little bit of our plant cream. And again, your plant cream can be anything from almond milk, oat milk, coconut milk. I would not suggest rice milk. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to have shaken this, and I'm going to pour, I would say it's about 3 cups. And it really depends on how thick or how thin you want your chowder to be. So I start off with just enough to just cover the ingredients. And I'm going to let that come to a boil. And as soon as it comes to a boil, I'm going to drop it down to a simmer. But just enough, because you don't want too much. If you put too much liquid in here, what ends up happening is it's really runny. And again, the beautiful thing about chowder is that it's chunky. So that's going to come to a boil. Let's talk a little bit about sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are nutritious, and they have a healthy serving of vitamin A, vitamin C, and manganese. They also have anti-cancer properties, and many promote immune function and other health benefits. So here's 6 things about sweet potatoes. They're highly nutritious. They're a great source of fiber, vitamins, and minerals. And I know you all keep hearing fiber, fiber, fiber. Fiber is so important because fiber keeps you regular. Fiber is what pulls the waste in your body out so that you can defecate. Fiber is so key. And the best way to get fiber is to get it through your foods. Yes, you can use Metamucil. Yes, you can use all these other things. But the best way to get fiber into your body is to eat it. And how do we eat it? We get it from natural foods. We get it from our fruits and our vegetables, our legumes, and our grains. It promotes gut health. Okay, we were talking a little bit about colon cancer and colon health a few weeks ago. So it promotes gut health. It promotes gut health because it has fiber, and fiber keeps you regular. It also contains antioxidants. That's another one. We've talked about that a couple times tonight. Those antioxidants are those cancer-fighting properties, and they promote the growth of good gut bacteria. The third thing is it has anthocyanins. And anthocyanins are a group of antioxidants that have been found to slow the growth of certain types of cancers. That includes bladder, colon, stomach, and breast cancer. So, folk, we are talking about eating in such a way that we are arming our body with what it needs to fight. Now, I don't know if you realize this, but we all have cancer cells in our body. There's no way to avoid that. But what you can do is you can eat in a way that you fortify the fight in your body so that when cancer tries to get in there, it can't do what it would do if the doors were wide open. What you're doing with these antioxidants is you're holding the door back, and you're holding it with more and more and more strength as you eat those antioxidants. If you're eating a diet that is full of processed foods and packaged foods and smoked foods and animals, that is not giving your body what it needs to fight. What we're talking about is eating in a way where we are fighting disease. We're not giving it a chance. Or if it's starting to get in there, we're fighting it with everything we've got. There's something that I've said, that food can either be your medicine or it can be your demise. And dishes like this are your medicine. So this is starting to come to a boil. And it looks really good. And I'm going to add a little bit of my coconut milk. I'm going to add about a cup's worth of it. I'm just going to mix that in. It had kind of stiffened up a bit, so this heat is going to help it break down. And this is looking great. Let's see what time it is. What time is it? Oh, we've got a few minutes still. Great. All right. What's the next thing about sweet potatoes? Sweet potatoes support healthy vision. We spend so much time in front of the computer. We spend so much time in front of our phones. We could use all the help we can get with supporting healthy vision. So it's incredibly rich in beta carotene. And that is the antioxidant that is responsible for the vegetable's bright orange color. Number 5, it can help improve brain function. One study found that the anthocyanins, we spoke about that earlier, those are the antioxidants again, they can help the brain by reducing inflammation and reducing free radical damage. And finally, it may support your immune system. So there's so many great things. So many great things. All right. We are just about ready to use our immersion blender. I'm just going to get this ready for when I taste it to see if it needs some salt. I'll be right back. All right, we've got our bowl ready and we've got our ladle. This is smelling and it's looking so good. It's just a beautiful dish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bay leaf out. I've never blended a bay leaf and I don't want to start today. So I'm going to take this out. And I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to transfer this here. And I'm going to use my immersion blender. I'm going to go right in with it. You can also use a traditional blender if you'd like. Doesn't make a difference. I like this because it's easier to clean up. And I'm just gonna go through the pot and just probably about 4 or 5 times. There we go. And so now we've got this beautiful, chunky corn chowder, and we have blended up a bit of it. You can see, I'm gonna put this in my, oops, not yet, forgot something. Let's take a taste of it. We've still got to add our smoked paprika. You know what? I'm not going to even add any salt. This is delicious. One of the things that I've shared with you all, we're going to sprinkle our smoked paprika to just to add a little bit of warmth to it. You can use regular paprika if you're not a smoked paprika person. But this is delicious, and I'm going to leave this just the way it is, because one of the things that we have got to learn is to appreciate nature. We are so used to, because so many of us eat preservative packed foods and packaged foods, we're so used to things being super sweet and super salty. I've shared with you that you can retrain your palate. It's not as difficult as it seems. Every few days, your taste buds renew themselves. So if you're eating healthier food, if you're eating fresher food, if you're eating purer food, that's what your body is going to crave, and that's what you're going to crave in your mouth. So that's what we are doing. Of course, you can add a little bit if you'd like to. I chose not to. I'm just going to put this in my bowl. This looks so good. Let's add a little more of the broth to it. And there you have it. Can you see my lovely bowl of chowder? Can you see that? It's my lovely bowl of a summer corn chowder. This has zucchini, it has celery, it has carrots, it has sweet potato and red potato. It has some bay leaf. We've got some dry thyme in there, some vegetable broth, a little bit of plant milk by way of coconut milk, smoked paprika, and that is it. This is delicious. It's delicious year round. I'm telling you, this doesn't even need the salt. You've got the sweetness from the corn, the crunchiness from the corn. You've got a little bit of saltiness, remember, from our celery. This is delicious. You all see it didn't take much time to cook at all. And it is something that your family will appreciate and enjoy. If your kids are funny with veggies, you can put this in the blender and blend it till it's super smooth and creamy. They won't even know all the vegetables that are in there. They'll get all the nutrition. You won't have any of the headache with them saying that they don't eat this, they don't eat that. This is a great dish for that. So, thank you for joining me on Reclaiming Your Health. We'll see you next week. Have a wonderful week. Bye.